Hello everyone, and welcome to our Barn OGS meeting tonight. We have some great speakers here that are going to tell us all about the trails of quilts. First off, I want to okay. Every time we turn around, we're moving stuff around to get everything going. So, as I said before, welcome to the Kent branch of the Ontario Genealogy Society, October's meeting. We are recorded and live streamed, which means we have people that live afar that can listen to the meetings. So, the Ontario Genealogy Society is mandate is preserving and promoting family history for over 50 years, over 30 branches all across Ontario. If you want to go to the Ontario Genealogy Society and see what they have on their webpage, it's www.ogs.on.ca. The Kent Branch Researching General Family History is what we do. We do mentoring, assistance, etc. We have a quarterly newsletter, monthly meetings, and resource collection. So we're pretty well got it covered for Kent County. This is some of our room. We're on the second floor of the Chatham Public Library, and we're just behind the McKinney room. Some people don't realize we're there, but this word gets out and they show up. They're open Tuesdays to Saturday also, from 1 to 5. So we don't do a Monday, which is kind of nice. The Kent Branch website is www.ogs.on.ca/Kent, and the Kent Branch Facebook group is www.facebook.com/groups Kent Branch OGS, and they're all open to the public. Oops, let's get from here. Upcoming events in October, we're going to have the Essex Branch is having our past president of the OGS doing evaluating genealogical resources, building a solid foundation. October 20th, Kent Historical Society, we're having Matt Myers as a speaker to Insights into World War I. October the 20th, 2015, Dresden Public Library is having an open house at 6:30 to showcase the new microphone equipment and what they have now in their own library. October 26th to November 23rd, Kent Branch is having family history classes. They're open to the public. They're $20 a class, or 3 classes for $50. So it runs from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. And we are going to tour the Kent County Registry Office building over on William Street, October 27th at 10 a.m. Everyone's to meet there for 10 a.m. Parking, just trying to take advantage of the cultural center across the street, and maybe you can park in those spots because we're a little farther away, and they have their spots allotted for people that work in the arbors. November 13th is the Kent Branch OGS with Deborah Honor speaking where there's a bill, and she'll discuss bills and maybe some of the quirky ways that they did dinner back then. So tonight's presentation is the Thames River Barn Quilt Trail, people of the Thames from 1750 to 1850. And it's a delightful one. I've heard it and I really enjoyed it. But before we start, we have something to say.
Did anybody see the show the last time in September called Still Standing? I just wanted to recommend it to everybody. We just happened to see it by fluke. We were on our travels and stopped overnight in North Bay and turned the television on, and it's CBC, and then watching the show about North Boston, about Boston. And it's excellent. You should watch it, and you can find it online. You just do a Google search to Still Standing. It's comedian, actually. second that does it. It's information about serious matters of communities that many did not survive. Some are still standing, and that's where the title comes from, still standing. And it's a half-hour show, so if you Google "still standing" BBC, you'll come up with episodes and just choose the Buxton one. It's quite humorous. You have to suffer through the commercials, unfortunately. And I heard on the radio this past week on the news that Redonda, the industry in North Buxton, has been contacted by an Ottawa firm, probably going to be willing to distribute some of their manufactured colors. So that was good news. But I highly recommend watching it. Still standing.
Thanks, Goldie. So once again, I'm going to introduce the speaker. Oh, yes, one other thing. Well, you know, like the hand signal stuff to me sometimes, I have to kind of figure it out. But anyway, if anybody has phones on, I'm sure not for long enough over in there, something like that. I'm thinking I've got mine in there, but probably not, but I'm not expecting anything else, so. Just so. Others can see, okay. Oh, whatever.
Good evening, and thanks for inviting us to come and talk to you. I'm sure a lot of you know more than me from these, but I have to thank, before I go any further, I have to thank Diane French and Frank Thames for feeding me information. I would be lost without Diane's books, and Frank sending me information I found nowhere else. I'm Joyce Martin-Bruce. I'm current president and co-founder of the Town Quilt Committee Guild, and I will introduce my cohort here. Heather is our upcoming president of the guild, and she was the one that got us into the Barn Quilt Trail, and she's chair of that committee. Chris Crawford and I wrote the story with the help of Virginia Travis on some of our Black History blocks. Oh, there she is. Liz DiCrescenzo and her daughter do our IT stuff. So Liz has done the PowerPoint presentation, which you'll see. Okay, so I'm supposed to tell you a little bit about the Town Quilt Guild. We've been together for 17 years now. We average 130 members, and it's stayed that way all that time. On $35 a year to belong. And our mandate is to provide comfort quilts. That's our biggest thing, our comfort quilts to our community. We started out doing quilts for children in distress, and so all the first responders have them on board. And then we found there were a lot of suffering people in the community with cancer and various disasters, and we decided to find quilts for those folks. And I think since January, we've given out 80 quilts already. Last year, we gave out 172, and that didn't include the ones that we give to Child Can in London. They provide quilts for kids from our area that have London for treatment for cancer. And we gave them 64 quilts in that. So that's basically a little bit about the Town Quilt Guild, and I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you. Well, it's very nice to be here tonight. Some of you may wonder how we got into this. Longwood's Barn Quilt Trail Group challenged us, came to our Quilt Guild meeting and challenged us to continue the Barn Quilt Trail through Chatham, Kent. So with our love of history and our love of quilting, we decided we would take up the challenge. And some of you might wonder, what is a barn quilt? Well, a barn quilt tells a story. A barn quilt draws attention to unmarked historical locations. It makes a trail. It creates a theme route. It draws visitors from one area to the next. And it creates rural eye candy that we glimpse as we drive down our roads. It also draws attention to Ontario's disappearing rural landscape, to timber frame barns and to family farms. On the practical side, a barn quilt is a replica of an actual fabric quilt. So this is our fabric quilt here. And these squares are 12 inches by 12 inches. So we've taken that one design of 12 inches and converted it to an 8 by 8 foot wooden barn quilt that now hangs on the side of a barn. Some of them are on stores, some of them are on posts at historical landmarks. So our journey began with our first task, which was to research our local history. And we tapped into all of the books written about local events and about people. So we have a whole list here of all of the research that we went into. Well, I shouldn't say we, mostly Chris and Joyce that did that. And I did look at several of the books, but not as deeply as they did. And so we decided, we had to decide where our trail was going to go first. So we decided we'd continue along Highway 2, along the Thames River, bring it into Chatham, down through Chatham, and then out to Lighthouse Cove, and then come back on the north side of the river on Grand River Line. And that we decided that the time period, also we had to pick what time period were we going to represent. So we decided that 1750 was a good time to start, because prior to that, there'd been a huge war between the Aboriginal tribes that lived in the area, and a lot of them had left. But they were starting to come back, and then settlers were starting to come. So we thought that's a good time period to start with. And then we thought we would do 100 years, so from 1750 to 1850. Then we had to decide on the blocks that were going to represent those stories. After we picked out from all the history, we had to decide what blocks we were actually going to make. So one of our members, Evelyn Evers from Sombra, used her EQ7 program, focus are up on their computers, and she designed some of the blocks, and some of them are very traditional blocks. And then we had to pick the colors that we wanted to use for each block. Then we decided the best thing to do, Northcott Fabric donated all the fabric for all the quilts, for this quilt and for Longwood's quilt and for the Trail of Tears and any other trails since then that have been made. They donated all the fabric. So we thought, well, the best thing was to just have an old-fashioned quilting bee. So we rent space as the Chatham Quilting Guild at St. Paul's Congregational Church. So we had a day there, and 12 members came, and we brought fabric out, and everybody brought sewing machines, and we cut and sewed and ironed and had a great time. So you can see that in these pictures, there we are working away on it. Most members made 2 squares that day. And some of the harder blocks, just one person, that one block got made. Some of the really hard ones were left and they were made the other day. But in the one day, we got 24 of the 30 blocks made on that one day. So we haven't appreciated that. Usually I have to stop and say, that was a big job. So we did that, and then we took the material to Joan Hilhorst, so creative in Mount Bridges, and she did the embroidery for free on a machine for us, and she's done that for all the other quilts as well. Then it was all sewn together, and then a group, as you can see in that other picture, hand quilted it. Now, by that point in time, we had invested over 1,000 hours of volunteer time. So it was a lot of work up to that point. Then to get the route started, we needed money. So we had to apply to the Ontario Trail Foundation. And we also applied to the Community Partnership Fund. And so we got $5,000 from the Australian Foundation, and we got $10,000 from the Community Partnership Fund. Now we haven't received all that. We were given $5,000 of it, and then we'll receive $5,000 at the end. I don't know what they think you're supposed to do for money in between times, but we will get it at the end. Then we went out and through all our talks, we've done about 30 presentations. And we raised money that way. And we also approached local businesses, industries, and so on. And so we have raised what we needed. Each block costs $1,000 to go from a 12-inch block to an 8-by-8-foot block, painted and installed on the barn. The wood is expensive to buy, and the wood for the framing to go on the barn and so on. It's very expensive. Plus, walkout barn, you can't do this with ladders. You have to have a hydraulic lift, a cherry picker or whatever, and those are expensive. Now, one of the other big costs is paint. We needed 22 gallons of primer. And then we had 30 other colors to paint. And Dulux Paint has provided all of the paint for us. So they have been just marvelous. And we had rows of browns, rows of greens, rows of blues, rows of yellows, rows of red, you know, all of the colors of the rainbow. And they provided it all. They've done that for all the trails. It was a huge, huge cost that we didn't have to pay for. And we had volunteer members from our Child Quilters Guild and friends that came and helped us paint. We started painting in May, and I worked with them hard. I made it start at 8 in the morning, and we went right through until 5:30 at night. Of course, sometimes we just have to sit and watch paint dry. Then we had our snacks and coffee. But otherwise, the installers are from Wordsville and Lane Cove, and they have installed approximately 130 Barn Quilt stems. So they're very good. They know exactly how to do it, and they're quite professional at doing it. So to do the painting, we had to have someone draw the designs. So to take the design from here to an 8-by-8-foot design is very complicated, and when it's on 2 separate boards, the boards are 8 feet by 4 feet. So the lines have to all match up. So we had Al Farcone, who is a graphic designer, do it for us, and it's amazing. They put these 2 boards up, and the lines are just perfectly matched. So he was there, marvelous job. He's down on his hands and knees on these boards doing it. So we got him a pair of kneecaps. Didn't want him running his knees. So after we did all that, so we raised the $30,000, and that was a big job to do. It took a lot of work, and if you've ever filled out a form for a government project, unbelievable how much paperwork is involved. So while we were doing all this, Joyce and Chris were working on the stories. And that's the really super interesting part of this Barn Quilt Trail. So we have these marvelous stories. Each one has a very special story. And I'm sorry we won't have time to tell you all of the stories, but you're going to hear a few that are really, really special ones. And I'm going to let, well, Joyce is just going to give you a quick oversight of what they're all about, and then Chris will come up and tell you about 2 or 3 of them.
Okay, I'll stand on this side, I guess. I hope I'm right. Which side would you like me to stand on? Okay. Well, if I stand in the corner here at this point, we'll start with the Thames River block. There are 3 quilts that start with that block. And we approached the Lower Thames Valley Conservation Authority way back in August of last year with this quilt. And I don't think they really knew what they were in for. When we arrived, they did a meeting all day long, and they marched these quilting ladies with the quilt. And then we showed it to them, and we asked if we could put that block and the lighthouse block on their property, because that's pretty much the beginning and end of our trail. And they loved the whole idea and voted right there and then to give us a commission. We were thrilled. So the Thames River block, and you know they're renovating the building downtown, that block will go on the new building. The next one, the feathers, that sort of tells the story of the natives and how they helped the pioneers. Circle of Fish, that was located, that's on a barn on River Line, by the way, feathers. I can tell you where they are now. Circle of Fish is on the Cambridge store. And it tells the story of a particular fishing hole that was located on the river at that point, and talks about all the fish that used to be in the river. Tree of Life, and that's located at Earthworks on number 2 highway. And it talks about our Carolinian forest and the lack that we have now. Frank Parade, this is the one that I was missing information on, and Frank gave me that information. It talks about the French and Native women and how things changed when the British took over. And Providence is the story of Sally Ain. I'm sure most of you know her story, no? Well, you find out a little bit. She was also a very famous Native woman from here that started out very wealthy and wound up in the valley, very popular. Maple Leaf tells the story of, that's located, oh, by the way, that's probably where they are. This one is on Riverview Line on the Watercott Barn. It tells about sugar industry. Providence is on the River Line on an older gray barn near the Prairie Side Bridge. Repeating Process tells the story of St. Peter's Church and how it became the founding parish and for 15 other parishes in our county. And it's located on the garage or the shed right at St. Peter's Church. And someone in that parish has actually written what it is and when we put it up. Lighthouse is now established on posts at the lighthouse. We had to wait till the road opened up. It's been closed all summer. The family block, and it really looks a lot nicer than this one. We both were here up 2 hours. But it tells the story of the pioneer families and how they work together to, cooperate. And it's on the property right next to the railroad tracks at Prairie Side. So you can see it just flash by on the wheel now. But it belongs to a girl that's in our community. And that, where she lives, was the store at Prairie Side. And she told us that after they were sold, they used to hold dances on the second floor. So we thought it was very appropriate that that block went there. The corn block, that's a pretty obvious story. It is located at the corn bins. The turkey block is on a barn, a new horse barn on the corner of River Line and Grand River Line. And that talks about all the wildlife that we have, that was used. Rail fence, this is on the Massey property, on a pale yellow barn on the riverside past St. Peter's Church. Talks about all the rail fences. Country Church is at St. Thomas's Church for a very specific reason. And it's a nice story, I'll tell you now. Grist Mill is at Arnold's Mill, which is on the Historic Country Trail. Our trails intersect, which is kind of a double tourist bonus. And this one, we put that one on and it's just off. And Chrissy will tell you that story because she's related to Arnold. Shooting Star is at the Country Monument. Great Britain, that block is mounted on posts in the middle of Thamesville. The Sertoma Club of Thamesville pays the $1,000 to put that block up, and their bench sits right in front of it, and the communities in bloom here have decorated flower boxes that look very nice. Friendship Star tells the story of Tecumseh and Christopher Arnold, and that is on a barn right close to the Arnold Cemetery on the highway. The Soldiers Block, that is on Roselle's barn on Grand River Line. And he's very, very thrilled to have that block. He's at the Briggs farm designation on the country trail. Settlers Barn is on Grand River Line. It's on a newer barn, and if you're coming east after you cross the Prairie Fighting Bridge, you can see it very clearly. It's in the middle of that barn. Wild Goose Chase. That's a Black History block, and that will be going at the back of the parking lot of First Baptist Church, probably next week. The Cray House, everybody knows about the Cray House, but it's in the garden of the house. Sawtooth is on the county line, and it tells the story of our lumber industry. And the couple that has that, he has a sawmill, so that was appropriate. The North Star block is going in the Freedom Park on post, and the Black History Group was really excited to get in that block. They thought they were going to get it a couple of weeks ago, and we didn't get clearance to put the post in, so they had to wait. The fire block is on the Rebel Farm, just to the north and west of Pennsylvania. I think I know my direction. Anyway, Friendship Bouquet, that's an interesting story. It's on a barn on Company Line on the south side of the road. And the couple that had that farm, and she was a crow, and it was a crow farm, but she married a cowchief. And he wanted to put this block on the barn, and she said, oh no, it was a crow farm. We'll have Friendship Bouquet. At that time, we still had choices of blocks. So, unfortunately, that one is supposed to go on the cultural center. And we'll still be bringing it to mail delivery is a really good story that will tell you, tells about Mr. Steinhoff, who was a logger, Wheel of Fortune, if it's not up yet, although if you go on our website, the Ontario Barn Quilt Trail Clip and shows it somewhere else. But it will go up on River Line, past east of Nicholson also. And Crossroads, we finally found a home for that one. We had hoped it would go out to the Civic Center, but they didn't want it. So it's going to go on the back of the 12 building. So you'll be able to see it from Mama Maria. Anyway, that's basically what each one is about. And now I have testimony how you can story. Are you bored yet? Okay.
So the story I'm going to tell is one of our favorites, and it's the block of Woods, and Woods Mail. And it is about James Steinhoff. He was born in St. Thomas, but he moved to Chatham with his parents when he was, I think, about 6 years old. And in 1844, he finished his schooling, and he was only 3 years old. And he was a really precocious, ambitious little boy. And kind of picture him as Tom Sawyer, except an ambitious Tom Sawyer, because he did all kinds of things. He worked on the boats, he carried people across the river, he worked on a barge that brought the stone for the new courthouse that he just decommissioned. And but this one job that he had at the age of 10 was delivering the mail from Chatham to Stony Point. And he did it on horseback, and he did it in the middle of the night. I think it was about 50 miles there and back. He was only 10 years old, and you have to think back then, Chatham was just a village. I don't even know, I think it was a town yet. And we didn't have roads, really. They were glorified paths in the woods. We had wild animals. There was no lighting, so, and the farms along the river, the road would have been along the river. There would be a few farms along the way, but he was basically on his own, and if the moon was out, that was an advantage. But he delivered the mail at the age of 10. At the same time, his dad gave him, 2 oxen. Now, oxen were very valuable in those days. There were very few horses in, Chatham Kent in those days. The oxen were the work animals, and, they were more valuable. So he trained them, and he traded at a young age, the oxen for 100-acre farm. And then later when he was, a little bit older, he traded farm for schooner, and that started his shipping career. He had many ships and boats over the years, and he traded and shipped goods all to the Great Lakes. And he was involved in the lumber industry. As a young man, he did move to Wallaceburg, so he's kind of Wallaceburg's hero. He became a mayor, and he helped bring the glass factory to Wallaceburg and several other businesses. But in an interview he did for the Chatham Daily Planet in 1919, he speaks very fondly of Chatham because he said that's where he had his upbringing, or his formative years. And so he had a special place in his heart for Chatham, and he mentions that he remembers it when it was Chatham in the mud. So this is a picture of Mr. Steinhall. He was quite a man. He was very interesting man. The story I'm going to tell will be the lighthouse. I haven't really been telling this one. I just found out some new information. Jean Olive, probably very familiar with the name Cartier. And I would think that most of the Cartiers in Kent County, Chatham nowadays are descendants of a family that settled at the mouth of the river. I don't have a date, but I think it would be the late 1700s. And you can Google that, and they're related to the ancestry of Jacques Brachet. The story goes that when they went on fishing in Lake St. Clair, they would hang a lantern on a pole to guide them back. It was dark. After some time, they somebody built a lighthouse. This lighthouse was destroyed in the War of 1812 and was rebuilt in 1818. In 1837, the Canadian government decided to take control of the lighthouse, and a man by the name of Claude Cartier applied for the position, and he got it, and he was lighthouse keeper until he died in 1855. Now, he had moved to Chatham in 1830 and had a business. It was the Chatham Hotel. And it was noted for its inexpensive meals and its 3-cent shots of corn whiskey and its New Year's Eve balls. But he had several injuries that he got in the War of 1812, and he acquired a job, so he applied for the position of lighthouse keeper, and he did get it. He and his wife Nancy had 12 children, and their son Thomas took over as lighthouse keeper when Claude died. I might mention too that when Claude was the lighthouse keeper, they built another a range light. I don't know, maybe some of you know what that is. I have seen them. I know what the purpose is, but I never knew them to be called a range light. It's a smaller light that when you're navigating, you will line up the 2 lights. So there's a range light and then a taller 32-foot lighthouse. At a later date, the lighthouse was extended, and if you look at pictures of the lighthouse, you will see a rim around it, and that's where they extended it. Thomas was the lighthouse keeper till he died, and then his wife Emma took care of it for 4 years until their son Henry took over. And I think it was in 1950 that I think it was Henry's brother William was the last Cartier lighthouse people. And officially, they were lighthouse keepers for a little bit over 110 years. So I think if you think about the lantern and the first lighthouse, they probably were guiding mariners for a century and a half. There's a story in the Chad Valley Planet, I think it's in 1870, and I believe it was Thomas, was credited with saving 11 lives in the last 12 years. He received a gold watch from the government, I think a couple of years later, for having saved 13 lives. So the Cartiers were quite important to a lot of navigators on the St. Clair, Lake St. Clair, and Thames. I guess the next story I'm going to tell is the grist mill. That's another well-known paint mining in Arnold. You know all of this, I'm sure you can ask for Arnold information. And I've discovered that I'm a descendant of the Arnolds as well. And for those of you who may not know, Frederick Arnold and I think it was 3 or 4 of his children came from Germany, and they ended up along the Thames in Howard Township, but they went by way of Pennsylvania, Detroit, and Essex. And the son, one of the sons, Christopher, his German name is Stoffel, and the neighbors always stuffed Arnold. He decided he wanted to make a grist mill. There were grist mills along the river, the Cornwalls, at the Forks, Thames Clark had a grist mill, which John Gilder bought, and it was destroyed in the Cornwalls like Tinsdale, Dolson's Fields. But it's the Arnold mill. It's quite well known. It was known for its high grade power, but it also had some interesting stories connected with it. And today, if you go to the Doles on the Parkway, there is a spot where the mill was, and Mr. Dolson across the road kind of takes care of it. And there are some old timbers that he found that belong to that mill. And, but anyhow, I have to tell you about the mill. Christopher, to establish the mill, needed to be millstones, and he had to go to New York City to get them. So he devised a kind of barge with 3 dugout canoes, and he took 500 pounds of furs and 2 gentlemen with him, and they sailed down the Thames River, across Lake St. Clair, across Lake Erie, and they reached the barge at Buffalo. They went across country and purchased the stones, and then hired somebody to bring them up to Buffalo, and then made the return trip, which was about 10 weeks. And they set up the grist mill, and it was well received by the community. But during the War of 1812, he was very worried that the Americans would burn his mill, because they were burning. Sometimes they burned homes, but they liked to burn businesses sometimes. Actually, Tecumseh had burned the McGregor mill at the forts, just so that the Americans didn't get the grain. But anyhow, he had a plan. He was going to hide the millstones. Now, I heard he hid one, and I heard another story that he hid 2, but he hid whatever in the forest. And he managed to convince the Americans that it wasn't a working mill, so he saved his mill that way. We found in our stories that many of our stories are linked to other plots, stories from other plots. And this Christopher of the grist mill is linked with the French Star plot. Oh, I might mention too that the millstone still exists and the Chatham Museum has them. I think one of them used to be outside, but I don't think any of them are on display right now. They were really happy where they can display. The Friendship Star, which is near the Arnold Cemetery, tells of the friendship of Christopher Arnold and Tecumseh. I don't know if they were actual friends, maybe they were just acquaintances, but they knew each other from the capture of Fort Detroit. I believe that was in August of 1812. The local militia took part in that capture, and they might have known each other from other skirmishes and whatnot during the war, but Tecumseh spent his last evening at Christopher Arnold's home, and they kind of planned a strategy for the next day. The next day was October 5th, 1813, and that's when the Battle of the Thames occurred, and Tecumseh died. But, Christopher Arnold, the plan was Christopher Arnold would stand on the mill, at the side of the mill, and he was to signal Tecumseh when he was aware that the Americans were nearby by throwing a shovel of dirt. And then Tecumseh took off on his horse. There was a plan that there was a woman in a canoe, and when he saw her, he swam to the canoe, the horse swam, and he went to the north side of the river. Prior to doing that, he had a bag of flour, and he threw that in the air, and I didn't quite understand at first what it was all about, but I think it was kind of a diversion, and perhaps the Americans, it stopped the Americans and wondered what was going on. Maybe they thought it was fire guns or whatever, but it's interesting to note that it was dumped at the farm of Prindle Hubble, and we have we received permission to put the Union Jack up in downtown Thamesville on property that is owned by a descendant of Prindle Hubble. So we have all these connecting links, and it makes sense because the river was really the community, and Jim Gilbert's always talking about the river being the 401 of the day. So it's kind of interesting to all these things like that. I think it's true. She wants to talk.
We all want to talk. Okay, Country Church. This, am I over here? Okay, over here. Country Church is a favorite of mine because my husband's cousins were wardens here, and my niece was married here. It's got a very unusual history in that the property the church is on was owned by the Smith family. They settled there in 1793, and they had two daughters from married. And we help each other out all the time. Go blank once in a while. Anyway, Anne and Mary were sent out against cattle one night, and they always roamed in the bush. And coming back, a huge snowstorm came up, and the girls were caught in the storm and got lost. So they took shelter in the woods. But in the morning, when they found them, Mary was frozen to death, and Anne's legs were so badly frostbitten that in order to save their lives, they had to be amputated below the knee. And that was done by Hannah Bolton, who was sort of a nurse practitioner at the time in the Navy. And it was done on the kitchen table using laughing blockers, moonshine. Not a pretty picture. When we tell these stories to the kids, they like their stories. But anyway, it is a true story. Anne lived to be 84 years old. She was a real feisty lady. She traveled a lot. She looked after her farm. And she set up the General Harrison Organization, so she was farming with the neutrality, but he didn't burn herself, and that was good. Anyway, when she passed away, she left 200 acres to the English environment, and with the proviso that they build a church over the family grave. So in 1875, that happened. And here we have it connected. The Mr. Steinhoff loaded up the fire department van and the Masonic Lodge and all their family and brought them down to what is now known as their area limit, I believe, off of the church. And they laid the cornerstone for the church. And it was a big picnic. It was a big deal. But 100 years later, they repeated the whole process. Only this time we didn't have a steamer. They all came on the gravel yacht. But it was, and I have pictures from that time. I have a friend, Ann, who lives next door to the church, and she provided me with pictures from the 1975 thing. Anyway, this block is on the church hall. And sadly, I think that church is going to be closed this month. It's 140 years old now. Not, well, it was supposed to be. I know they're fighting, trying to keep it open. Unfortunately, we don't have something to do. We don't have the money. Yeah, yeah. Anyway, so that is the story of Country Church. What's the next one? Oh yeah, Great Britain. Okay, I like to talk about Great Britain because I have a lot of family that comes to visit sometimes from overseas, and I'm sure some of you do too. They all want to know why the names are the same here as they are at home. And it's Thames. Mr. Simcoe, our lieutenant governor, John Grace Simcoe, changed all the names. A lot of them are German or French, and he changed the names to represent some of his favorite parts of Britain, of England. But something I never knew, and I've learned a lot doing research on this, was that what he was most famous for, besides his survey of the land and his vision for what turned out to be Kent County, and to including communications growth that never happened until long after he was dead, was the fact that he enacted an anti-slave law here 33 years before it actually happened in the Empire. Yeah, and something else, I'm going to tell you a little bit about Halloween, but when she lost her property, he was one of the ones that stood up for her. He did, she did. A lot of very important people stood up for her and said that they should not take her land from her. But not a land speculation. He told me about that. And they just took it away. They said, you're not going to have any more than 200 acres. We don't care that you have been given the property from the mouth of the Thames all the way to Chatham for 150 acres back north. You can only have 200 acres. And I think it was because we probably didn't want to set a precedent. She was a new and she was a woman. But that's what happened with Halloween. Actually, I think it was some of her properties that was moved. So it was fun one. Okay. Okay. French braid. We had a lot of what. There just wasn't a lot of written history about this. And then I brought this. This is something Frank let me on. It's called Women of New France. And it's done by, it's an archaeological project at Fort St. Joseph by the Department of Anthropology, Western Michigan University. But it filled in a huge gap. It's you're welcome to look through it. But it tells us about one of the major differences between the French and the British. Well, I should say the French, the Indians and the British. A lot of the Indian women, especially the Iroquois tribe, had a lot of power. They were allowed to elect their chiefs and vote on wars or stop a war or whatever. And they were also interpreters and business people. they were really well thought of. And French connected to this on the first one. And so if they married a new woman, then they had an instant connection to birth rate amongst the tribe. And a lot of them, and Sally Inc. was a product of this, a lot of these spoke French, or the maid women spoke several languages and were used to more than one culture. So the French women that came out, and there weren't a lot of them, they had some power too. They had more in the colonies than they did at home. But they operated on like a community property thing. When they married, they didn't lose anything. So the husband still had control. But if he was found to be losing or, losing the property, then she could claim that. And they would disassociate her and her property from the husband. So the women became very important because they would have to be wealthy. They could claim half their husband's estate when he died. And this happened with the native women as well. So that's where the intermarriage of the natives and the French became Métis. Now that Métis group was all it meant was in French was used of an ethnic nature. It was not derogatory, although it became that way when the British was over, unfortunately. Because in British law, women didn't have any rights. They were getting, once they married, everything went to the husband, and he had total say over everything. So you can see where there would have been a problem when the British took over. And I never really knew any of that. It sure became clear. Anyway, that's my little bit about French braid. I take that and break again to the information they gave us. Heather's turn.
I'm going to talk very quickly about McCrae House. You probably all know the history of McCrae House. He was a tailor in Detroit, and we don't know why, but he moved to this area and built McCrae House. It was the first brick home in this area, and everybody was quite thrilled with it because it still is a beautiful home. Well, that was 1811, then the war came, and it was taken over by the Americans. And by 1813, in the wintertime, the militia, where they had arrived from Elgin, Ingersoll area, and they had walked along the road to get supplies, and they heard that McCrae House was in the hands of the Americans. So they decided that they would come up here. So they walked along the road, and this is winter time, and they collected more militia in shadow, and they surprised the Americans early in the morning, and they took the house back. And apparently the front door was blown off with a cannon, and there are shotgun holes in the brick, but to tell the story today. And they brought it back. Now that was special for a couple of reasons, because this was militia. These were volunteers. These weren't regular army. And they defeated the regular American army. Apparently that's a record that stood for a long time, and they still do a record. So we were Canadians and Vietnamese. That was good. We also burned their cup like them. Anyway. So those are just some of the stories, just a brief highlight. Some of the stories run for 3 pages. And when these girls get going, they love to tell the stories and they put in all the details. And you can really see that the Thames River was the center of life at that time. It really was the 401 of the day. Because you didn't go anywhere without being on the Thames River. People went to St. Peter's Church by boat. They went to their neighbors by boat. They took their goods to market all the way down to Detroit by boat. So the Thames River was extremely important. Now it's mainly just for recreation and flooding. But anyway, it was very important. And we based our stories on the community that surrounded the Thames River. Now, for finding out about these stories, our IT expert, Liz and her daughter, Michelle Jones, have worked on doing the website. Do you want to talk about it?
Our website is still under construction, but if you're interested in these,
If you're interested in knowing more about the locations, that's what I noticed as I clicked through that they had the addresses. But if you go to OntarioBarnQuiltTrails.com, there is a link to our Thames River barn quilt, and you'll see the map there, and there's a little emblem pointing to where there is a barn quilt. When you click on it, it has a list of the different barn quilts that are up on the location. There will be more developed later when we have a website up and running, because then we'll connect all the stories to the different plots as well. And we also have a Facebook page, and we keep people up to date on what's happening with the barn quilt through Facebook.
If you go to our Facebook page, you'll see all the pictures of us painting and the whole process. There was a huge amount of taping and painting one section at a time, and we had to redo it until we got it this bright color. So there was a lot of fun pictures.
I just wanted to add one thing. When we first put the Facebook page up, we weren't sure how many people would notice it. We're getting likes from Nebraska and different places because people like to travel to different barn quilts and as part of their vacation. So I think it's really well helpful in
And we're planning to do a bus trip of the whole route and tell all the stories along the way, and it should be really exciting to see it all finally there. It's really exciting right now. Out of the 30 blocks, we only have 6 left to install. We're just thrilled. When we started this, painting them in May, we thought we might get them all painted this summer. We weren't sure, and we were hoping we would have them all installed before the plowing match in 2018. So they are going to be all installed, except maybe for the one at Thames, lower Thames, because we have to wait for their renovations to finish. And for the municipality to decide what to do here. Anyway, I won't get into that. The Barn Quilt Trail really is a beacon, and it brings people to this area, people that are interested in seeing this rural art corridor and follow a trail that's a theme through. You can download the stories from the internet before you go, or we will be having signs where they have the URL code, so you can put your cell phone up and download the story that way. So it's going to provide a lot of interest for historians, people that love history, for quilters. It will bring a lot of quilters to look at this rural art gallery. And the children all love to see it, and hear the stories. They were asking when we did presentations at Michelle Jones's school, they all wanted to know, was there an app for that? When did the bus trip? They wanted to help with the painting, and they loved hearing the story. So it's been really positive response. And the farmers and all the hosts have been extremely excited about getting the barn quilt. So we're really pleased. Some communities have even gone so far as having all their flower beds designed as quilt blocks. If you've ever gone to Shipshewana, they have flower beds that are patterned on quilt blocks. So the communities and blue people are talking about doing that. So we've joined seniors, we've joined artists, schools, service clubs, and all the quilting community together to create this. And we really appreciate all the support And we hope that you enjoy this eye-catching folk art and also we are giving a course at Elton College in a couple of weeks, over at Chatham Retirement Resort, which I may have to answer, if I don't remember my thing. Anyway, this is like our 30th presentation. We're just keeps on going. We are also planning to do a book. People want to have all the stories. They want to have the pictures. They want to have the roots. So we are going to have a book out. We're also going to do some note cards and calendars, and we'll have all those things available at our quilt show, which will be in 2017. And then we'll also have it all available at the following in 2018. So keep your eyes open when you go out on Highway 2 and Riverview Line and Topsy Line. You'll see them all on the River Line. So I hope you enjoyed our vacation. I don't know if any of you had any questions you'd like to ask us. Yes, Chris. Oh, yes. This coming Tuesday night at 6 o'clock on CTV from Windsor. They are going to do apparently a 4-minute talk in interview. The girl was wonderful. Michelle came and she was with us from 4:30 till 7. And so she was just fascinated with the trail and hearing all the stories. So it's supposed to be on there. If you can't access it, you can access the story and everything on the internet. So you'll go to CTV Windsor News and punch in Thames River Barn Quilt Trail. Thank you very much. It's been very intense.
It's been very interesting. I've heard it a couple of times. I just love it. I'm happy to thank you for that. Thank you so much for coming there. Doing the presentation. It's a very quiet group here, so we're all intent on what you were saying, so that's a good thing. We're going to take a break now, so maybe if you want to have coffee or tea or something, you're welcome to stay as long as.
Very much.
Thank you.
There's a lot of maintenance.